Last time every team won the Super Bowl. I know the Super Bowl's in like 2 weeks, but let's just make this video. The last time the Chiefs won the Super Bowl and the most recent Super Bowl champion was last season in Super Bowl 57 when they beat the Eagles 38-35. Tied 35 really late in the game, the Chiefs would have to kick a field goal and give the Eagles the ball back, but a James Bradberry PI would allow the Chiefs to run the ball out and kick a field goal with just a few seconds remaining, sealing a Chiefs victory. It's very possible they win it all again, but I'm just hoping the Ravens put us out of us NFL fans' misery. Not the Chiefs probably love it. No, they do love it. Last time the Rams won the Super Bowl was Super Bowl 56 in 2022. It was a breath of fresh air, as it was nice seeing the Rams and the Bengals making the Super Bowl, and it was also cool seeing Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, and I guess OBJ. Not I guess, it was pretty cool seeing him get his first ring. It was cool seeing all those guys getting their first ring. Cooper Kupp was named Super Bowl MVP, deservingly so. He finished with 8 receptions, 92 yards, and 2 clutch touchdowns. The last time the Bucs won the Super Bowl was in the year of our Lord 2021 in Super Bowl 55 when they beat Patrick Mahomes and the reigning champ Kansas City Chiefs 31-9. Their defense really stopped the top offense in the NFL to only 9 points. This Bucs team was seen as a one-year wonder since they had Tom Brady at quarterback, but in their first season without Tom Brady with Baker Mayfield, they don't seem too bad. And they made it to the divisional round and were just a few good plays away from making the NFC Championship. Even though the story of the game was the Bucs defense, Tom Brady would be named Super Bowl MVP. From one Tom Brady-led team to another, as the Patriots would win Super Bowl 53, which would be their last so far, and thank goodness, the last of the Tom Brady-Bill Belichick dynasty, and arguably the most boring game, Super Bowl at least, of all time. Because it was such a bad game, there really wasn't a clear Super Bowl MVP, but they decided to give it to wide receiver Julian Edelman, who finished with 10 receptions and 141 yards, no touchdowns. The most recent time and the first time the Eagles won the Super Bowl was 6 years ago when they beat Tom Brady and the Patriots, with Nick Foles leading them 41-33, and by far the most shocking Super Bowl in the past decade, which included this historic touchdown caught by Nick Foles. And of course, Nick Foles won Super Bowl MVP. The last time the Broncos won the Super Bowl was 8 years ago when they beat the 15-1 Panthers 24-10, which was also Peyton Manning's final NFL game, the Broncos' last playoff game, and both teams would descend into, I guess, poverty after this game. Von Miller won MVP of this game, deservingly so, as he finished with 6 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles on MVP Cam Newton. In a game that also involved the Broncos, it's the Seahawks, as they won their first and most recent Super Bowl 10 years ago, that's crazy, against the Broncos in a blowout 43-8 victory. This team was led by its defense, aka the infamous Legion of Boom, and this is the reason why they won the game. And one of the players from the defensive side, Malcolm Smith, who wasn't even one of the best players on the team or Legion of Boom at all, won Super Bowl MVP, and it's gotta be one of the most random Super Bowl MVPs of all time. His final stat line, 10 tackles and a pick 6. The last time the Ravens won the Super Bowl was 11 years ago in 2013 in Super Bowl 47 when they beat the 49ers 34-31, which could be a rematch this season. And by the way, this is one of the most chaotic Super Bowls of all time. It was 28-6 midway through the third, then a blackout happened, the 49ers came all the way back, but they couldn't win. And also, this is the Brother Bowl, or the Harbaugh Bowl, as Jim Harbaugh and John Harbaugh went up against each other. The MVP was Joe Flacco, which capped off an amazing playoff run where he had 287 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks. The last time the Giants won the Super Bowl was all the way back in 2012, and they're not going to win it anytime soon, and they beat the Patriots yet again, this time 21-17. Eli Manning won MVP by this game, and hopefully by the time this video turns 5 years old, he's in the Hall of Fame. But if you look at the stat line, it's kind of mediocre, but nevertheless, he was the MVP. The Packers last won the Super Bowl in 2011 when they beat the Steelers in Super Bowl 45, 31-25. Aaron Rodgers won MVP of this game, and deservingly so. He threw for 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks, and this is still somehow his only Super Bowl win. Hopefully he can win it with the Jackets next year. I doubt it though. And also, the Packers had a lot of injuries this game. They shouldn't have won this game, but they did. Last time the Saints won the Super Bowl was also their first time, as they beat the Colts in Super Bowl 44, 31-17, and this is also kind of heartwarming because of Hurricane Katrina just a few years prior. Tracy Porter sealed the game when he returned a pick six late in the game to put the Saints up by 14 points. Even though it was Porter who sealed the game, Drew Brees won MVP as he threw for 288 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and he deserved it. I'm not really a narrative guy when it comes to awards, but he signed with the Saints after Hurricane Katrina hit, and he single-handedly turned the Saints, him and Sean Payton, turned the Saints into a Super Bowl contender, and somehow this is his only Super Bowl win. You can blame Tom Brady for that. The last time the Steelers won the Super Bowl was Super Bowl 43 when they beat the Cardinals 27-23 on a San Antonio Holmes insane catch near the end of the game, and this was also the first time a team had reached 6 Super Bowl wins. On top of that play, San Antonio Holmes won MVP of that game, 9 receptions, 131 yards, and 1 touchdown. The last time the Colts won the Super Bowl was all the way back in 2007, the year I was born, against the Bears in Super Bowl 41, as they won 29-17. The game opened up with a Devin Hester kickoff return, the only time that's happened in Super Bowl history, but the Bears did nothing after that. Peyton Manning would win MVP, however, these aren't the best stats: 247 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. It's a shame Peyton Manning only won 2 Super Bowls, but I mean, we can blame Tom Brady, and we can also blame the Colts, and we can also blame Peyton Manning. The Colts and Peyton Manning really blew some opportunities. We now do a big time leap of 11 years into the 20th century where we talk about my team, the Dallas Cowboys. This is kind of sad. It's been almost 30 years since America's team won the Super Bowl, and that was in Super Bowl 30 against the Steelers, where they won 27-17. The MVP of this game would be cornerback Larry Brown, who finished with 2 interceptions. By the way, he's a big one-game wonder. After this game, he'd signed a hefty contract with the Raiders, and he'd do nothing with them. I think what's even crazier is that the last time the 49ers won the Super Bowl was almost 30 years ago as well, this time being 29 years ago, as they beat the San Diego Chargers 49-26 in the highest scoring Super Bowl of all time. 49ers could win their next this season. It's been a long time, surprisingly. Steve Young won MVP, and he deserved it more than anyone else. 325 yards, 6 touchdowns, and no picks. Those 6 touchdowns are the most in a Super Bowl all time. Last time the Redskins won, yes, I said it, the Redskins, the last time they won the Super Bowl was all the way back in 1992 when they beat the Bills 37-24 in the midst of the Bills' 4-game Super Bowl losing streak. The MVP of this game was quarterback Mark Reitman, who threw for 18 for 33, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick. The last and only time the Bears have won the Super Bowl came all the way back in 1986 when the historic 15-1 team blew out the Patriots 46-10 in Super Bowl 20. The MVP was Richard Dent, but it's kind of an underwhelming stat line. He only finished with a 1.5 sack. Go back 2 years, and that's the last time the Raiders won the Super Bowl, all the way back in the 1984 calendar year that is, where they destroyed the Washington Redskins 38-9 in Super Bowl 18. Marcus Allen won MVP of this game, and he went off 191 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he's also the youngest Super Bowl MVP of all time. Our second to last team came a decade prior when the Miami Dolphins beat the Minnesota Vikings in Super Bowl 8 24-7, finishing a back-to-back Super Bowl champion season. Fullback Larry Sonko won MVP, beast mode before beast mode, an insane 33 carries, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And our last team, I'm really hoping I'm not missing anyone, I doubt it, but the team who has won the Super Bowl with the longest drought, I think I'm putting that right, is the New York Jets, who hasn't won a Super Bowl in 55 years, and that's going to go on for a long time. And they came all the way back at Super Bowl 3 when Joe Namath shocked the world and beat the Colts 16-7. He won MVP. Okay, I'm done. Bye.